After a 2.5 hour drive from Hanoi, we reached the jetty to board the motorboat. This motorboat took us to a cruise in Halong Bay. Halong Bay is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a popular tourist destination in Vietnam. The name Halong means descending dragon. The Halong Bay features thousands of towering limestone islands in various shapes and sizes in emerald waters. There's a room with a view. We are in the cruise. There's a balcony and the Halong Bay. This is the room which we got. Nice spacious cabin in the cruise. And the Halong Bay there. What a magnificent view. You can do various activities in the emerald waters of Halong Bay, such as kayaking, cave explorations by rowboats, and swimming in the emerald waters. Halong Bay has an area of 600 square miles, including 1,969 islands of limestone. The limestone in this bay has gone through 500 million years of formation in different conditions and environments. There are many caves in Halong Bay, and many stalactites hang from the high ceiling of these caves with numerous possible forms and shapes. It was amazing experience to pass underneath these hanging stalactites in the water, and we had to literally bend down our heads to pass below these caves. In the evening, we could enjoy sitting on the top deck of the cruise liner and appreciate the natural scenery of Halong Bay. It was beautiful to watch. We also could enjoy the brilliant sunset in the evening from the cruise top. In the evening later, we had a cooking class demonstration on the top deck of the cruise, and then we settled down for dinner in the cruise. After having a delicious brunch in the morning, we disembarked the cruise and we thoroughly enjoyed being on the cruise. On the way to Hanoi Airport, we visited the pearl factory in Halong Bay. The pearl farming industry in Halong Bay dates back to the early 1960s. At that time, local fishermen in this coastal area discovered natural pearls inside oysters, sparking the interest and development of pearl farming. Today, Halong Bay stands as one of the world's largest pearl farming center, producing 10 million pearls annually. We then boarded a flight to Siamreap, Cambodia. In the morning, we visited Angkor Wat. Angkor Wat was built at the behest of the Khmer king Suryavarman II in the early 12th century. This is the entrance to Angkor Wat. Angkor Wat temple is designed to represent Mount Meru, home of the Devas or gods in Hindu mythology, and is surrounded by a moat more than 5 kilometers. The temple complex fell into disuse before being restored in the 20th century, with various international agencies involved in the project. Here we are seeing the main complex of Angkor Wat temple. The Angkor area was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1992. It is considered by some experts to be the largest religious structure in the world. The temple is admired for the grandeur and the harmony of the architecture and the various gods or devatas adorning its walls. Angkor Wat is a Hindu Buddhist temple complex located on a site measuring 402 acres within the ancient Khmer capital city of Angkor. It is considered as the largest religious structure in the world by the Guinness World Records. The temple was dedicated to Hindu god Vishnu, and the original religious motifs were derived from Hinduism. After the transformation from a Hindu center of worship to Buddhism towards the end of the 12th century, Angkor Wat continues to be a Buddhist center till the present day. In the 16th century, Portuguese traders and missionaries discovered Angkor Wat temple, a temple which was abandoned for more than 150 years. Between 1986 and 1992, the Archaeological Survey of India carried out restoration work on this temple. We then visited Ta Prohm temple in Angkor complex, which also means ancestor Brahma. Ta Prohm is the modern name of a temple near the city of Siamreap, Cambodia. It was built in the Bayon style largely in the 12th century and early 13th century and was originally called Rajavihara. The temple was built without mortar, and after it was abandoned, trees took root in the loosened stones. The trees growing out of the ruins and the jungle surroundings have made it one of the most popular temples with visitors to the area. It has been on the UNESCO World Heritage List since 1992. The temple is also referred to as the Tomb Raider Temple or the Angelina Jolie Temple due to its depiction in the film Lara Croft Tomb Raider, made in 2001. After the fall of the Khmer Empire in the 15th century, the temple of Ta Prohm was abandoned and neglected for centuries. When the effort to conserve and restore the temples of Angkor began in the early 20th century, they called franchise the Extreme Orient, decided that Ta Prohm would be left largely as it had been found, as a concession to the general taste for the picturesque. Nevertheless, much work has been done to stabilize the ruins, to permit access, and to maintain this condition of apparent neglect. The conservation and restoration of Taprom is a partnership project of the Archaeological Survey of India and the Authority for the Protection and Management of Angkor and the region of Siamreap, also called Apsara. By 2013, the Archaeological Survey of India restored most parts of the temple complex, some of which were constructed from scratch. Wooden walkways, platforms, and roped railings were put in place around the site to protect the monument from further damage. In November 2022, a renovation of the Hall of Dancers was completed. The trees growing out of the ruins are perhaps the most distinctive feature of Ta Prohm and have prompted many writers to describe the growing trees as the main feature of Angkor. Two species of trees predominate in this area. The one is the silk cotton tree, the larger ones, and the smaller trees are the gold apple trees. These amazing trees have trunks which extend skywards up into the sky, and their roots are amazingly long and they are endlessly in the ground, and they look like reptiles than plants. We then visited the Bayontemple. The Bayontemple is a richly decorated Khmer temple related to Buddhism at Angkor in Siem Reap, Cambodia. It was built in the late 12th or early 13th century as the state temple of the king Jayavarman VII. The Bayon's most distinctive feature is the many serene and smiling stone faces of Brahma, the Hindu god, and it is probably modeled on the face of King Jayavarman VII. On every side, the many towers that jut out from the upper terrace and cluster around its central peak. There are 216 gigantic faces on the temple's towers. There are a total of 11 temples in Angkor area. In the evening, we went for the traditional Apsara dance show. We had dinner in the same place during the Apsara show, and the dinner spread was massive. The Apsara dance is a classical Khmer dance for women that was first formed in the mid 20th century by the Royal Ballet of Cambodia under the ruling queen. In Cambodian culture, the Apsara dance symbolizes spirituality, femininity, and the bond between humanity and the divine. The Apsara dance comprises of almost 1,500 sophisticated hand and finger gestures which tell an elaborate history of the country as well as express the soul of the Cambodian people. Apsaradance is played by women sewn into tight-fitting traditional dress and whose graceful and sinuous gestures narrate classical myths or religious stories. It is one of the national symbols of Cambodia. Then we proceeded to the airport in Siamreap on our way to Hochiminhcity. And there's a beautiful statue of a deity in the airport, which was stunning to look at. After arrival in Ho Chi Minh City, we visited the War Remnants Museum. This museum features a comprehensive collection of the machinery, the weapons, the photographs, and the documentation of the Vietnamese War with both the French and the Americans. After many years of war, the Vietnamese people ultimately won the war on April 30th, 1975. There is a section in this museum which depicts in photographs the various disabilities, illnesses caused because of use of Agent Orange by the US military in Vietnam War. Agent Orange is a chemical herbicide and defoliant, and it was used by the US military as part of its warfare program during the Vietnam War. We then went on a boat ride in the Mekong River Delta, considered as the rice bowl of Vietnam, with a beautiful collection of towns along the banks of the Mekong River. We then got on at Unicorn Island. Here we visited honey tea farm and the fruit farm and got mesmerized by the local Vietnamese musicians. We then went on a horse ride around the Unicorn Island, and it was a beautiful, quaint little village which we could appreciate. We could then enjoy the traditional Vietnamese tea and the Vietnamese fruits. We also could enjoy the Vietnamese singers playing traditional songs. We then enjoyed a traditional boat ride wearing Vietnamese hats in the narrow tree-lined canal. This was an amazing experience. Later, we visited the local coconut candy factory and we could witness the making of coconut candies. We had a live demonstration of how coconut candies were made. We then visited Vinhtrangpagoda. This pagoda is a Buddhist temple near Mai Tho in the Mekong Delta region of southern Vietnam. The architectural style of the pagoda harmoniously combines Asian and European influences, creating an impressive overall composition. Before entering the temple grounds, visitors will pass through a triple arched gate adorned with countless pieces of skillfully crafted ceramics and porcelain. Our next sightseeing spot was the tunnels of Cuchi. This is the entrance to Cuchi tunnels in Ho Chi Minh City, and the tunnels of Cuchi are an immense network of connecting tunnels located in the Cu Chi district of Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. And they are part of a much larger network of tunnels that underlie much of the country. This is a map which shows the intricate network of Cu Chi tunnels. This is how the Cu Chi tunnel can be used for a soldier to hide inside so that he can escape from the American soldiers who were nearby. This is a beautiful example of a person can go underneath and then hide himself from the enemies. And it's so beautifully disguised, you can hardly make out that there is a tunnel underneath. The tunnels contained various bamboo traps made by the Viet Cong to injure and potentially kill the enemy soldiers. The tunnels also contained ventilation shafts to release smoke from fire and any poisonous gases pumped into the tunnels by the enemy soldiers. That was the end of our Vietnam tour, and hope to see you again soon in our next episode of Travel Crazy Couple.